You know, the public buys sure things. We live in a celebrity culture. So it is difficult. If you worked on that, we'd only have books by Grisham and Julie Andrews and whoever, which would be a great loss. So it's, you know, not true that it's, you know, if it's good, it publishes. John Kennedy O'Toole, who wrote Confederacy of Dunces, was so despondent he shot himself.
Right.
And his mama went to Walker Percy and gave him the book, and Walker Percy said, "This isn't bad."
And now it's a classic.
Yeah. So
well, and the Fountainhead was turned down, I think, 35 times. You know,
well, there's one of my favorite stories, and someone just did this once, and the book was The Yearling, which we all read as we were kids. Someone sat and retyped it as a manuscript and submitted it.
Yeah.
Just to see how people would do it. It got turned down by everybody, including the house that had published The Yearling.
Right.
They didn't even recognize it. They just said, "This won't go." So,
well, let me ask you about the logistics, because I know your books are available at Lemuria, and my new friend Laura Weeks at Laura Live Books, which is a wonderful place in Vicksburg, independent bookstore. You say I can go online, order it. It's made to order, as it were, for me.
Right.
But obviously, you have to take 50 books to the bookstore. So you order the books, or Laura or John at Lemuria orders them? Is that how that's done?
I order them because if I order them, I make more money.
Now, does Amazon get a cut?
Yes.
Or, okay, of every subsequent sale? So you pay them to publish,
Right.
and then they also get a percentage.
Well, if I buy the books, you know, these books cost about $4.50 or $5 to print. That's what they charge me if they deliver them to me. That and shipping. You know, Laura or Johnny are going to get 40%. So take those out and I get the middle. If it's sold through Amazon, Amazon's going to get the 40%. So if someone buys from an independent bookstore in Jackson or Vicksburg or
McCormick, have you talked to Hugh?
I haven't yet.
Wonderful person.
I'm just getting out into the marketing end of it now.
Well, that should come naturally to you, Steve.
It's the hardest thing in the world for me. I am a terrible self-promoter. The way I was raised.
I've never had that problem. I don't know if it's done me any good.
I know, and it hasn't.
Obviously. Obviously.
But I'm a terrible self-promoter, and I think part of it was being raised in the Midwest, and you're taught that you don't blow your own horn too much.
Yeah.
And I've never been good at promoting my advertising career. As a matter of fact, Melanie Christopher and Gene Edwards and all of them have a company, and I talked to Gene last week about, do I need someone like them just because I can't do it? And we're in discussion. I'd just as soon not spend the money. And I know I can promote almost anything. I just can't promote me.
That's interesting. I mean, I really wouldn't think it would be that big of a problem, because you obviously believe in the product, you know, but it's that old ethic, huh?
It really is. Never gotten it out of me.
All right, now tell me, who would enjoy, and be as objective as you can, but The Fall of Adam, The Gleaner, is it the same audience? Is there a different audience? Would men prefer a certain one of your novels? Women prefer another? Who's the audience for your books?
The Gleaner, initially, I thought was a woman's book. And, but it gets both genders pretty well. It's, I don't like to use the word a romance because everyone thinks it's a bodice ripper or, you know, heaving bosoms, etc.
Right.
It's a very quiet, small story about a widower that finds himself falling in love at an inappropriate time in a small town. But it has a lot of appeal with women. It has a lot of appeal with rural Mississippians. The Fall of Adam is breezy, smart aleck. It's also gone very much across the gender line. The one coming out this fall, Horizontal Adjustment, is totally a man's book. Women will be outraged at it. I expect the National organization of women to start raising Cain with me.
Can we show the cover here?
Sure.
I don't think we'll be censored on YouTube, considering some of the things I've seen before. So the man's novel, and Horizontal Adjustment will be out
Probably October.
now. Let's talk about The Fall of Adam, because we threw a little teaser in before the break. It's about advertising. So is this about Jackson, Mississippi advertising? Will we recognize people in this novel?
My libel lawyers hope you won't recognize people, but
Change the names.
Yes. Oh, yes. The names are.
And not to protect the innocent, to protect the author.
But
Yeah.
oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
But the story, the premise is there's actually a number of levels in the book, but on a real top line, it's about 3 advertising agencies Jackson agencies chasing the state of Mississippi business, which is being run by a corrupt administration. It's a lot of fun, and there's kind of a offbeat romance as part of it. A lot of it takes place at the Cherokee Inn. It's got a
lot
real
of hearts have been
category.
broken there. Yeah. And how have sales been? Have you been happy with the turnout when you're out there signing books?
I've been very happy with the book signing turnouts. Sales have not been much because I haven't been aggressively selling them. You know, I had another job for a while, and you know, I just didn't do it. And you know, we just talked about it. I really don't like self-promoting. I'm getting used to it. The first signing, I thought I was going to die.
It's tough, isn't it?
Oh, it was awful.
It's tough.
Mhm.
I did a few, and what was sad is, you know, I thought, oh wow, everybody I know is going to come out, and they don't, and no one really cares. Now I was fortunate. You know, APT came out to one, and some, you know, I think I sold 10 at Lemuria, and Johnny said that's not bad.
Yeah.
But I really thought, Steve, that you know I'd have 50 people.
Oh yeah, never happens.
Doesn't happen. It's a humbling experience. You know.
I've heard that James Lee Burke, who is one of my very favorite writers, who has just come out with a magnificent new book called Rain Gods, Gene was telling me he thought that he was going to be coming to Lemuria. And I would guess a writer as fine as Burke probably will be lucky if he gets 20 people. It just...
It's the way it is now, huh? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Now, do you think that there is a nonfiction book brewing? Would there ever be something about, say, advertising, or do you perceive your future as a writer only in the fiction category?
I prefer fiction. For years, I've thought of writing a book called Advertising for Mom and Pop, or Advertising from A to Y, that deals towards the things small advertisers face. Because the fundamentals of advertising are the same if you're a mom and pop shop or if you're a Fortune 500 company. You know, they really are.
Do you ever see yourself getting back into advertising, Steve? If let's say you got a phone call this afternoon, you're at home, and let's say an agency, a big agency out of state, called you and said, "We know about you. You know, come on. What do you think?"
A lot would depend on geography. You know, I would not go to New York, period.
Yeah.
A lot would depend on their account list.
So you'd be open to...
Oh, I'm sure I'm always open.
Yeah.
It's not really what I think I would like to do, but I've worked some national business, and to get my hands on the big machinery would be fun. Let me have the car keys for a while and see what I can do.